fucking YouTube, bro. Alright, well, Lord's will, we're back. I don't know if the dude's gonna come back or not, but just for edification's sake, I'm just gonna go into it regardless. And Lord's will, it'll still be here for whoever to watch it back. Okay, so I think the last thing that the person said was it's clear that we're African, which is such a great, it's such an Edomite thing to say. Because here it is, I'm telling you, I thought that we were all about respecting each other's pronouns, which, so like, I'm not trying to compare it to that. But it's just funny that Esau will push that, but he won't even extend that same courtesy to us. But we know why. Because he wants the world to continue following the delusion. That we know that he wants the world to continue following his proverb and byword delusion. Okay, he does not want the world to know that everyone goes back to a biblical nationality. The Most High deals with nationality, nations and people. He does not deal with skin color. He does not deal with race. How can someone be African American? How are you going to be two different shits? That doesn't make any sense. The scriptures say, declare their pedigrees by the house of their fathers. Carries a seed. Whatever you are, whatever your father is, that's what you are. Okay? The mother doesn't determine the nation. Going into it too, I remember I was talking about it earlier, but I didn't go fully into it. But basically, like, the man, that's why it's the man's last name. The man represents the household, the head of the household, so that everything is in order. That's how you keep records in order. Okay? It's not even that hard to understand. And if you want to go into the science of it, the mother's blood don't even mix with the child's, man. The sperm is alive. And when it fertilizes the egg, it already got its everything from, that's the father's seed, man. Like when you plant a seed, if I got an American apple seed, right? Or Florida is known for oranges, okay? If I take an orange seed from Florida and I go to China and I plant the orange seed from Florida, all of a sudden you think that just because, okay, it's in different soil, right? It's in non-native soil. But the plant that's gonna, the tree that's gonna spring forth from that seed, I planted an orange seed. It's not gonna change to a Chinese orange. It's not a Chinese orange. It's still a Floridian orange. It's still an American orange. Likewise, if a man of the nation of Israel plants a seed, which would be his sperm, and when you go into the word, it goes into I believe the Greek for it is sperma, which means seed. Women don't have seed. Women are incubators for the child. But if I, as an Israelite man, or if an Israelite man of the tribe of Judah plants his seed in a heathen woman, a non-Israelite woman of the tribe of Ammon, which are the so-called Japanese, the child that springs forth from that union would still be an Israelite child of the tribe of Judah. Okay? That's natural. So, and then for the whole African and American thing, what's it called? Africa was named after Leo Scipio Africanus, I believe his name was. And the same thing with America. It was named after Amerigo Vespucci, which are two so-called white men. So that's basically the Edomite ideology. right? That we all have to go by his names. Not only his naming conventions, but his pseudoscience too. Okay, which doesn't even make any sense. So here is, I'm telling this guy, no, we're not the same as the Hamites. Okay, we're actually Shemites. And we're talking about, in the scriptures, it tells you the whole, it tells you the progeny. Okay, this is not just something that the Lord made up. It's actual progeny. You can see the records of the descendants of these men and where we came from. Okay? Ham was the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but of Ethiopians, the Cushites, right? The Egyptians, the Philistines, so on and so forth. Right? Shem was the forefather of the Israelites, the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, okay? So on and so forth. So we're Shemitic. We're not Hamitic. Nigga talking about it's clear you're African. How? What are you talking? Just because you say we are? Just because Esau said that we are? Get the frick out of here, man. How are you going to tell me what I am? Okay, when Lord, through the Spirit, we did the research. Okay? And we see clear as day that Esau has been lying. Esau's been deceiving the whole world. Okay? If we're African, that means we're Hamites. Okay? So why do we fit the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28? Why is Esau oppressing us in Babylon, in the land of the north? That don't even make sense. Anyway, so I'll read this real quick. Amos chapter 1 and verse 6, because again, we didn't make this up. We're just reading it and breaking it down. It tells you that Israelites didn't sell themselves. This was during 70 AD, when Vespasian came into power, all right, in ancient Rome. And they besieged Judea. And there was a portion of us, there was a couple million, I would say, I believe it was 1 million or so Israelites that fled south down to the west coast of Africa after Vespasian besieged Jerusalem. That was the whole incident with 70 AD, okay, that Yahawashi was warning our people about. But we didn't all hearken unto it. We didn't all escape. A lot of us still occupied Judea for a time and was completely obliterated, all right, and held captives. Okay? So this is Amos 1 and 6. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, these are Hamites, so-called Africans, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away the whole, they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them to who? Edom, which we read in Genesis chapter 25 was Esau, Jacob's older brother. But like the Lord said, 2 nations are in thy womb. They're going to be separated from thy bowels. All right? So let me read that again. Amos 1 and 6. Then thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. That was us being kidnapped, being held captive on the west coast of Africa and delivered into the hands of the Edomites, and then being brought to the Americas on cargo slave ships. Okay? Exodus chapter 11, verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Okay, so see, that's the shallow ideology that Esau has deceived the world into adopting. He said, it's clear you are simply because of how I look. I'm sure that's what he meant. All right, because how else would you mean that? You don't have any records to back up me being African. You don't have no proof of that. Just because we was in Africa at the time, that's where we were taken from. That don't mean that that's where we're from. That don't mean that that's where we are. Okay. In fact, when you go into the history, right, during slavery, the slaves were speaking Hebrew. They were speaking and writing in Hebrew, in ancient Hebrew. They have they have different artifacts too. The lost Luna stone, I believe it's either in Puerto Rico or in Mexico. I can't remember. That has Hebrew writing on it, ancient Hebrew, just like this, right? So we was reading and writing in ancient Hebrew. All right, we was saying, "Swing low, sweet chariot, come carry us home," because we knew the history, we knew prophecy. Okay. What Esau did, he made the slave Bible. He took our scriptures, because it was never his and it was never meant for him. He took our scriptures, right, and remixed it basically. Took out a whole bunch, added a whole bunch, and said, "Servants obey your slaves obey your masters," to use to his benefit to confuse us. It shows you in that movie Roots how they beat our Hebrew out of us. Said, "No, your name is Toby," and he's like, "No, my name is I think it was Kunta Kinte or something." So like, I can't remember his exact name, but he was beating him. So it literally showed you. They literally showed it to you. They proved it. They exposed themselves. Like, no, we beat the Hebrew out of you. And it took like 2 or 3 generations, between 2 to 4 generations, for the Hebrew to completely leave us. We weren't allowed to read and speak and all that in our own language. Okay? Hey, when you go into that history, man, you can see how Esau really had his key put into law. You know, you know, this is 3/5 of a man. They don't feel pain. Okay? These are colored people. Then they're Negro. Then they're black, or this or that. All these different proverbs and bywords that he forced upon us. We are not no damn Hamites. When Hamites come over here, they just like the other heathens, man. Now there are some so-called Africans that really go back to the nation of Israel. That's why we don't judge off of appearance. We judge by the Spirit. Romans 8:16. But for the most part, so-called Africans, those are Hamites. Those are not Israelites. They're not the same people. The Lord put a difference between us and the Egyptians, which we're Shemites, they're Hamites. Okay, so the Lord literally said there's a difference between Israel and Egypt. Shemites, Hamites, so-called Africans, and then the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So I'll drop that. And I want to read this real quick back in Genesis 25, in verse 25. "And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and he called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when she bare him. I believe the score is 20, so 80 would be about 60 years old. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man, dwelling in tents. Okay, then I'll get 2nd Ezra's. Chapter 6 and verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed. And when he's talking about the end of the world, it's not literally talking about the earth being destroyed. It's talking about the end of an era, the end of an age, a period of time, referring to Esau's rulership. Okay? That's about to come to a close. And the beginning of it that followed would be the kingdom of heaven being established. Jacob, Israel, ruling on the planet earth, being brought back into that high estate. Okay? And then I also read this in Amos 1 and verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Who is Esau like that towards? Who else does he just bring nothing but fury and hatred towards, other than the so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians? Okay? It's playing upon tables into the whole. Okay? The spirit, we understand, we are the Israelites. We're not no Hamites. We're not Africans. The Lord, all right, and to answer the original question, this is what the Lord thinks about Esau. It's not about what we think. I mean, you see, the Lord made it clear how Esau operates. You see what kind of man this guy is. The cunning hunter. Right? The end of an era. The end. Representing the end. Okay? It says, Malachi chapter 1 and verse 2, I have loved you. He loves Jacob, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau. See? Even though they were twin brothers, meaning they're twins but they don't look alike, he loved Jacob, the younger, and he hates Esau, the older. All right? The nation of Edom, he hates them. The nation of Israel, he loves them. And that's all throughout the scriptures. Okay? That's why he said this, and laid his mountains and his heritage wait forever. The people against whom the Lord had indignation forever. So the Lord will forever have a righteous hatred towards the nation of Edom. Simple. And just for good measure, right? You want to, oh, that's the Old Testament. Oh, really? Well, 9. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil. They didn't do anything yet. Just to finish this up, right? Romans 9 and 11. For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High, according to election, might stand, not of works, but of him that calleth. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. I'll just close it out right there. I pray this is edifying, exhorting, and uplifting through the Spirit and power of YAHAWASHI. To answer your question, we hate what the Lord hates. The Lord hates Esau, so we hate Esau. Okay? The Lord has indignation against Esau forever. We have indignation against Esau forever. This lesson to push forth this word. Keep pushing, keep praying, keep fasting, keep enduring, keep striving for the truth unto death, and YAHAWASHI shall fight for thee. Keep abiding in the faith. Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, stay strong on this home. Shalom, Wa Barakyam, Lahabakari, meaning peace and blessings to the elect. YAHAWASHI Ratazah, we may be part of that number. Ahabatam, the water for tuning in, the water for the precepts. You know, I had to go on a part 2, but Lord's will knows that, you know, the message needs to reach. Will reach them, and it may be edifying unto them or condemning unto them through the Spirit of YAHAWASHI. Not my will, but His be done. All right. May the blessing of election be upon all your households. Shabbat, Shalom. Today is the Shabbat. It's the weekly Shabbat from Monday evening to Tuesday evening. So it'll end tonight. You know, but that's the current weekly Shabbat. And blessings, honor, glory, and power be in two. YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Famiyad, YAHAWAH, always and forever. Call HALALYAM La, YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, QADASH. Shabbat Shalom.